Or, no, it was like update on reports. So, I don't know, I just have to think of it, it's on somebody else. We could always add that during the discussion of that. Number 3, new business.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John Clark.
Here.
Rick Robertson.
Here.
Amanda Hunter. Here. Joan David. Here. Nancy Conlon, all present and accounted for.
Okay, approval of the agenda.
My only question on the agenda was under I, where it says approved budget, was that supposed to be approved bills?
Yes.
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with the change that number I reads approved bills.
Or.
Okay, motion by Hunter, supported by Clark to approve the agenda as presented with the correction of changing the word budget to bills on letter I. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 5-0. Approval of the minutes.
I would like to approve the amended meeting minutes as presented.
Supported.
Okay, motion by Hunter, supported by Clark to approve the April 18, 2023 minutes as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 5-0. Public comments on action items. Can you stand and say your name?
My name is Bob Harwood, and I live up on 168th Avenue. I guess I just want to make a comment about Buchanan Road and 160. Is this the place where I talk about it?
Yep, because roads is on the agenda.
Alright, so anyway, up there, I know it was on the agenda before. I watched some of the township meetings, but I'm just hoping that they do something with Buchanan Road because it's like falling apart and there's all kinds of potholes in it and everything else. And I plan on going over to the road commission and talk to them a little bit about some other maintenance they need to do to that road to try and make it better. But I'd really appreciate it if they could do something with Buchanan Road out there because it's piece by piece is falling apart is what it's doing. And that is my statement.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments? Treasurer's report.
So last month we had that 10-day window for our CD that expired or that matured. So I went into the bank and talked to Tracy and we moved it from, I believe it was 0.1 or 0.01% interest rate to a 4% interest rate. So we should be getting significantly more than 50 cents a month now on our interest for our CD, so that is all taken care of. And as far as what our accounts show, in our general fund, we have $893,262.37. In our checking account, at the end of the month, we had $14,440.65. After all of the outstanding checks cleared, that amount would have been $1,263.13 for a total cash available of $894,525.50. The treasury accounts as of I think it was 4:30 to 4:28, I can't remember when they, ended, but the money market account had $6,772.09. Part of that is interest that was earned, and part of that is our set reimbursement that still needs transferred over into our, money market account. The treasury checking was $82,877.82, with outstanding checks of $80,934.85, so all settlement has been done. Our fire fund did not reflect the check that came out, so our fire fund shows at the end of April $65,332.27, that will have, reduced as soon as they cash the check, whatever that is, so hopefully that will be down next month as well. Deposits for the month, we had $51,856.85 for deposits for the month, and we spent $39,285.80 last month. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How come we, like on here, like the COVID money, I don't know, do you take care of that, Nancy?
Yeah.
And the marijuana money, what we have, or?
What happened was, it was in deferred accounts, so that it wasn't all mixed in with our regular, monies, and, she came over, and when we, did the budget, Sarah came down, our auditor, and transferred those over, so that they are into the regular.
So it's all
accounts.
into our general?
Right, and it's not going to be in deferred anymore for the rest of the year.
Okay.
So in doing that, when I went to run the revenue and expense report this time, they did not appear. So I've been on the phone with her, and I sent her some stuff. It's in there, for some reason it didn't show up on that report. So, we're redesigning the report, and she's gonna get back with me, so that's why it's not in there.
So later it'll be separate?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, it was deferred before,
Yeah.
and so we had to, take and use one account to, say if we had a bill, we would
Right.
go there, and then pull it out of that deferred amount to cover it in the general. Now she's moved it all over, but for some reason, when I ran the report and when I did checks Thursday, that didn't appear. So I've been in back and forth with her. She'll probably come down again and
Right.
relook at it.
It's there, but
It's there, but it's just not appearing in that report, so.
Okay, I was just wondering.
No, that's good.
Any other discussion? Okay, correspondence?
I have a few things, to start out with. I sent thank you letters on behalf of the board to the folks that put in the library. They also stocked it pretty much when they, put it in out there, and we have been using it. There's been people in and out, and I can see books being moved. So I sent them a thank you note, and then, there's a lady up on, McLaren Lake, her name is Diane Hazen, and she's a former librarian from Kalamazoo, and she's a wonderful lady, and she was excited when she saw the idea for the little library book box, and wanted to know what she could do to help. And so the people stepped forth, and she even volunteered shingles because she had extra shingles, but we had shingles, so we didn't need them. So she still wanted to do her part, and she called me, and she asked if she could make a donation for books. And I said, Diane, you can do whatever you want. We appreciate whatever you want to do. She so much wanted to be a part of it. I think she would have built it if she was 10 years younger, but she's not. So, she made out a check to the township for $1,000, and we wanna thank her for her donation for $1,000 to purchase books for the book box. And, I even thought I'd go spend some time with her and help her look at what kind of books that she would like. We probably are lacking more children's books than anything, because those get pretty beat up by the time your children are through looking at them. So, but anyways, thank you Diane Hazen for the $1,000 that she sent, towards that. We also, as you know, we had, May 2nd was, the Shelby Public School election, and we have the Old Ferry School District that, we, have several parcels, that, people, they still get to vote for Shelby, they're not in the Hesperia. So, the election was moved to Ferry Township. Thank you to those people at Ferry that did it. And so our people voted there either absentee or in person. And I had to be here at the Township Hall from 7 in the morning till 8 at night, but Ferry handled all that. And they actually had a small turnout also. They had 25 that voted yes at Ferry and 55 that voted no on the Shelby Public School District election, and so I'm glad that we combined it with them because theirs was small enough as it was, so, but I did receive that, canvass of votes cast from the, county, just as if we had held it here. Do you wanna do that later, or do you want to?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So I don't see anything else.
Okay, any other correspondence?
Yeah, no, the special election and the sheriff's office were the only two that I had, but if you're covering that one.
Yep, I'm ready to do that during the report.
That's all I had.
Okay. For old business, we didn't finish voting on the one roads. And so they got back with me this morning. The one on the top is the original one that they gave us for Zimmer Road. The one on the bottom is the new quote with less area. The original one was 4,078 feet, and the new one was 1,275 feet. Because I talked to them and we discussed that the corner was the worst part of that road, and that needed it more than the rest of the road. So there's that one, and the other one that I think there might have been a misunderstanding on this one. This is the Hightower Lake Road, that's actually 3 roads, 166 Hightower and Lakeview Road. They were going to see what they could do to get it lower than that, but then we also, in our meeting, we were discussing another section that's connected to that, that's in really bad shape, and they ended up adding that to it. So instead of that quote being a little bit less, it ended up being 15,000 more, but it adds on another road. It adds on part of Loop Road. So
Weren't they supposed to separate that one in 3 different sections?
no, because if they do that, then it's gonna cost us more.
Gotcha, okay,
And that's why we were trying to keep all 3 of them together.
gotcha.
And they were gonna check other companies in that to try to get it lower, but like I said, then they added on that one section, and then it ended up making it higher.
So right now, you know the roads are gonna do, I mean,
That's what at our last meeting, we voted on the roads that the marijuana would cover, but
Right.
with our regular budget, we didn't vote on because
Right.
everything was,
that was,
we were trying,
176, right?
no.
No,
that's-
that was done with marijuana funds, not
Right.
within our
Right.
normal road
It's-
budget.
these roads, Zimmer Road is out, off from 176.
Right.
And then the one that says Hightower Road, that's actually 3 roads in one. It's 166, Hightower Road, and then Lakeview Road. So it's all the way, it's 3 sides of the lake. And then the new quote they have is, one section off from Loop Road. I think it's the section that's between Loop Road and, 160th. Plus we put 200,000 in our budget, and we have to plan on at least
2 grindings.
2 grindings, so about 24,000, or we'll say 25, so that takes us down to 175,000.
So the Hightower Road project is kind of out of the budget this year. Either way, the old quote or the new quote are both out of the budget.
The only other thing that we can do is, have them just do, part of this, knowing that it's probably gonna cost us a little bit more in the long run if we split it up in 2 years.
2 years.
But even if we split it up and, do a section of it this year, a section of it next year, and then this, or whatever, half of it this year, half of it next year, even though we'd be paying more, it still fits within the budget, and we can budget for it better
Right.
next year too.
Mhm.
So, sucks that we're gonna have to pay more in the end, but, cause that's gonna be, what, 36,000 over budget if we go with the estimate that they gave us?
Yes.
And that's if we just do that road and none of the other ones.
Well,
So,
this is coming out of the funds set aside out of our regular budget.
yes,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying, is that we've got 200 in our regular budget, 200,000 in our regular budget. So,
We have to remember the brine. I think they started
Mhm.
brining. Did they brine you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that
Yeah.
today.
I mean, I hate to wait another month, but I would like to see what it would be split up versus,
Mhm.
I make a motion that we do half this year and half next year,
whatever the cost may be.
whatever the cost may be. At least we could appropriate it in our budget and.
As long as, so what about Zimmer though? Just
Well,
curious.
Zimmer is,
If we approved Zimmer, and then we figure our brining, that's gonna be right around $35,000, 36,000 for those 2.
Mhm.
So that would leave us 164,000 that we could put towards the Hightower Road project, and we could always approve it with the stating that as long as it didn't go over
Yeah.
a certain amount.
My other question is, because we're looking at, on the Zimmer Road one, is it worth it to do the whole thing? I have not seen that road, so to be completely honest, I don't know.
To do the whole
Yeah,
road,
to do
or
the
what?
whole- Well, the original quote of 36,000 versus the 10,725.
I think you get by with the 10,000 one. 'Cause
You
we
think you
just-
could?
Yeah.
Because if you ever go down 172nd or Zimmer, it's pretty good gravel, but then when you get down on the curve, it's really sandy, and we've
Okay.
had,
So this was
that's
just,
the
the
bad spot.
10,725 is
Yeah.
just for that curve.
it's for that main part, because we've had buses stuck there, and we've had the road commission trucks stuck there before.
You're right,
So-
right in there by Heron, right?
Yeah.
It's not,
the
it's
Heron
just
spot.
west of
Just-
Herons, yeah, it would start like Herons
DeBros.
old driveway and then around the curve
Yeah,
a little
road
ways.
or not,
But what they originally did is they went all the way from 176th Avenue and went almost a whole mile around, but
Okay,
I don't think that's necessary.
so yeah, if we wanted to do the one for 10,725 and then estimate 25,000, for brining, and then,
Put the rest,
put the rest towards
Hightower.
Hightower, and those 3 roads, and, get us as far as we can this year, and we'll make up the rest next year.
Mhm.
Okay,
I made a motion, but
okay,
it's
so,
set, so do you want to?
are you gonna
To
second that?
amend it?
Oh,
Well, do you want me to
what
amend it?
what was the
including-
motion?
I just was gonna say, do the estimate on Hightower half, or what we have left, but I can amend that to say, I make a motion that we do, Zimmer Road with the new, estimate. And.
Do we wanna do these separate?
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
You want them
Yeah.
separate?
Separate.
Okay. Okay,
I'll second that.
So Zimmer Road, you're making a motion for Zimmer Road?
right. I make a motion for Zimmer Road with a new estimate for $10,725.
Okay, motion by Conley, supported by Hunter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried 5-0. Okay, now you can do your new motion on.
Hightower. Make a motion that we do as much on Hightower as left in the budget out of the 200,000 after brining and after Zimmer Road. As much this year as we can, and then do the rest next year.
Should we do a dollar amount? Just,
Probably not to exceed 160, well, I'd say 160,000, just to be on the safe side.
yeah, if that wants to be the motion, I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, motion by Conley, supported by Hunter to approve doing Hightower Road with a maximum of 160,000 and to finish it next year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 5-0. I'll get hold of them tomorrow. Next is officer furniture. We had talked about office furniture a few months ago. I had given everybody packets. I printed off new quotes, or I reprinted the quotes, so if you didn't have them. And then I did a packet, if you and Rick wanna look at those, and if you wanna share those with
Did you get one?
John.
Okay,
Oh,
okay, yeah.
That, but the ones with the pictures, I didn't make copies for everybody,
I have a
because,
second copy of these.
John and I aren't gonna use them desks anyway, so, you know.
Well, you might, you could come out here and spend some time.
Gotta make you real happy, that's all. I'm not going there.
so the things that we had looked at, it was a lateral file cabinet with locks in it. There was that, there was a storage credenza with drawers and cabinets in it. There was a conference table that has ports in it it has outlets and USB ports in it. And then there was the two-person L desk that would be for the supervisor and clerk, and then a reception desk for the treasurer. And we also put on there, we need more file cabinets, but the only one that we got a quote for was a fire-resistant one. I think that there's a regular file cabinet floating out there that Mr. Jansma might be able to get hold of, and we also, and I know it's not part of this, but we need to find another two-drawer file cabinet for our zoning administrator and marijuana enforcer to use, because they've run out of room.
So we've got two out there. One of them is in use by zoning and marijuana. Well, there's the second one. If we got
If
one
we
of
got this,
these,
then they
they
can
can
move
have
that.
that.
That's
Okay.
why I don't even have
And I
it.
have
I don't
one.
have
Okay.
that thing.
I have one that has the MasterCards in one and all the cemetery stuff in the other, a two-drawer,
Okay.
so, but I mean, it's full, so, you know. I don't see getting a file cabinet, a new file cabinet right now, because during the summer, I'm thinking we could pick some up.
Yeah.
I don't know how fire resistant they are, but I don't know how fire resistant some of those are that are in bag either. Probably a person that dealt with office furniture would know, but just me looking at them, I don't know, I'm not sure they are either, so, but I don't know
I
what to
looked-
do about that.
I looked at Marketplace online and every time I found a file cabinet, they were gone in 10 minutes, so.
Okay.
But, I mean, I can always quick,
Wish we would've-
yeah, we want it, and,
Wish
you
we
know,
would've thought when Heron Brothers had their auction, cause they auctioned out that office furniture.
yeah.
Think about that then, but that would've been,
So how are you gonna do this? Vote
And
on each one, or?
Well, just, what does anybody think is,
You don't wanna hear what I gotta say, but
I think we need
I
at
think,
least one more, if not more, fire resistant cabinets. I do not love the price of this, so I would like to shop around. 1,800 for one is absolutely insane.
yeah, I think we might
You
need
know,
a couple.
so I think I think we need them, but I don't think we need to pay that price for them. I think we can look for a used office supply store and even, you know,
yeah,
get one
that's what
cheaper
I'm
there.
thinking, I'm thinking too.
I would almost go so far as to say if we can find one somewhere for a couple $100, even at a used store or whatever, just to get it, and we'll, you know, like, we can make a motion if you want to approve up to, say, 500 for fire resistant safes, so that way it's just on file, blanket. If we find one,
Right.
we can get it, and that way we're not, you know, having
And
to
we can-
approve it after the
And we could
purchase.
sell this.
Yeah, and I do think this table is not
user friendly.
it's not, it's heavy, it's bulky,
Takes 2 minutes,
it's,
a small boy just to move it.
you know, I don't love the price of this one, but it's better than, you know, which one was that? That is the conference table at 1,185.
Where's Mike?
Huh?
Oh, Mike Felder.
oh, Mike Carter.
How much did you just spend on your new table?
A little more than that. Just under 10,000.
Yeah,
For a table?
yes. It's gonna be nice.
You know, and
I thought it was that, but I'd rather have you say it than me.
I figured that.
2 outlets, 2 USB ports, which would be really nice, especially for the owl and all of
Yeah,
this
well,
setup.
we just get more stuff plugged in, and when we have other meetings here, we're hopping to plug in stuff. and-
Exactly, and like we've got one back here that is, you know, it would be nice.
Yeah, cause we
I-
had meetings with even, for the recycle, you know, where different people are plugging in different places, and that's.
And especially coming up with the, master plan
Right,
things, like, it's gonna be nice to have something like that. I don't wanna pay the price of any of this stuff, it's good stuff, but I don't wanna pay the price of it, but,
And I checked, some other places, and they were more, plus the shipping and,
Their freight is very reasonable. It comes out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
for your line, yeah, I know a lot of people, a lot
So
of businesses.
once, I mean, we'll get an idea exactly what it is, once we actually put it all in and send it off for a quote. It all has to go to a sales rep at E1, who then spits out your final price.
so, and I honestly, as much as I love the idea of getting a new desk, I think desks are just, I think ours function as much as they're
Well,
not
like hers
pretty
doesn't
and
even
they're not.
lock, none of her drawers lock.
But if we got some of these, she could have her own locking drawers.
Right.
So, you know,
Well, we could take it out of COVID money,
do you know how much we have left?
well, approximately, yes, there's,
Okay, approximately how much do we have left?
I think we're looking at 116,000?
116?
Yeah, is what,
That sounds about right, I
Yeah.
just,
I mean, we're doing a couple roads with it, but there's still stuff left.
were we doing roads with COVID monies?
parking lot.
Oh, yes, parking lot, yes.
And 176. Oh, that's
No,
Canada,
that's
that's
Canada,
Canada, never mind.
I was gonna say, I don't think we're doing any
No,
roads with
no,
it, we're just doing the
so-
parking lot. I don't know, I don't think the desks are worth it, cause like, for a file cabinet, a 2-drawer file cabinet, you can go to, Walmart and buy one brand new for under $100 and it locks.
Yeah,
So-
I think,
You know,
I think after 25 or 30 years, we deserve new desks that you don't have to jump up and down on and try to get them locked and unlocked, and there's no storage, very little storage, even underneath, so. I think we include the desk and at least the credenza and the conference table. If you don't want the other 2-drawer one, we can leave that. And
see, I was thinking the
file
2 drawers
cabinet.
and not the credenza. Cause they just seem like they'd hold a whole lot more. And they're the same basic, I mean, you're looking at $95 difference for 2 huge filing cabinets versus
Yeah,
one
I can't-
credenza.
I can't
that's-
see paying that much for a filing cabinet.
And I guess that's also true, you know, cause those are,
Well, I make a motion that we order the downtown conference table for $1,185. The downtown office workstation 2-person desk for $1,635. A reception desk for $1,150. And the credenza for $805, and that's got a lot of storage in it.
I don't see the $805.
It's $805 on the credenza.
I'm looking at this, not that.
Okay.
oh, it's cheaper on the, because we're doing 2, or we're not doing 2, on the
No.
quote it's 2, on
It's
the
805,
thing it's just 1, so.
yeah.
You're doing.
And then we'll look for file cabinets this summer.
I have their new price on just plain file cabinets if you'd like it, just for your reference.
Okay.
4-drawer, your choice of color, one is $345, buying 2 or more, they're $330 each. That's just a plain 4-drawer file cabinet.
Okay,
Still think we need
It's
fire
a-
ones. I think we need more fire safe ones, personally.
Yeah.
Just for the security of it. Not that I ever expect anything to happen, but just security wise, I
like I
guess
said,
that
we need to
The
look
way
at those
this
back there.
building's built,
as well, there was that too, with all the electrical and whatnot, but I'd feel more comfortable with fire safe.
So I've got a motion to purchase conference table, 2-person workstation, downtown reception desk, and a credenza.
So that would total $4,775 rather than the $10,000.
What was that, 4,000?
$4,775.
And then how much was freight?
Freight is yet to be determined. They will spit out but it's, I can't give you a ballpark either.
Okay.
Freight. I'd actually have to get in touch with the sales rep.
Okay. Cause I'm just thinking if freight's gonna be 1,000 or 2,000, then, I mean, it's not,
We can go with
That's ridiculous,
Dennis's truck and
but-
pick it up. Only Wisconsin.
Just ask. Fair.
I can get this sent off to a sales rep and they'll get back to me tomorrow, but
okay.
Motion's out there, people.
I'll support the motion.
Okay, motion by Conley, supported by Robertson, to purchase the table, credenza, 2-person workstation, and reception desk. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm undecided. I'll
I
say
kinda
aye.
am too, just simply because, not that I don't want this, I'm undecided on if we should have done, a limit on price
Yeah.
because of Not because of this price, but because of
I mean,
freight.
you can put a qualifier in, you know, subject to reasonable freight,
Okay.
and we can determine what reasonable is once I have a freight quote. We can always say we're not gonna do it.
Yeah, we can always
I
rescind
think
the
it's
I
gonna
motion.
be
mean, you think,
reasonable.
you think what you're saying, we should look around, or?
No,
this is
we're
it,
just-
or-
I did look around and
Yeah.
freight is really expensive.
No, I mean-
Oh,
As far as
I
the
think
price.
these are
Oh,
about
no,
the
those-
cheapest.
as far as the fireproof safes and that, we'll look around for
Yeah.
that, but as far as this,
That's
I
a
mean,
good
if
price.
the freight ends up being too much, we can always rescind this.
And what I will
and-
probably end up doing is having them ship it to the hardware because you have a fork truck. They will charge you more if you don't have a fork truck and you need to do a lift gate. It's almost $700 more for a lift gate service now. So we'll see what the difference is and we'll talk.
Okay,
So,
so,
reasonable shipping of, I don't know, what do you say,
Reasonable
600 less,
shipping.
750 less?
I'd
What's
say-
your guys' thought? I don't know. I have no idea what it's gonna cost. I'm torn on
I
whether
know
I
they're
want
very
the desk,
reasonable, I know a lot of
you know,
places that use your line.
probably 800.
I would say less than 1,000,
less than 1,000. Okay.
that's just my guess.
So as long as you can get the whole quote for under 5,775
Yeah.
delivered to our, you know, the hardware
To your
store door,
area.
yeah.
Okay, so we have 3 yeses. I'll say yes.
I was gonna say, oh, okay. I feel silly spending this much money on something, but at the same time, I also understand the value of it because like my drawer doesn't lock very well.
So what are you gonna do with this table? Still keep it?
Michael's gonna put it out there for,
There's a ration, like the old technology stuff is sitting waiting, it's gonna get put out for, I guess you can either do sealed bid or
You're gonna
set
sell,
price.
more or less
Yeah.
sell this.
But
with
yeah.
the old equipment,
The old technical equipment,
technical
whatever we're
equipment, we put
replacing,
this with it.
which would help to,
If the
Offset
village
those
doesn't like theirs, they may want this.
I'll go down as a yes. I'll go down as a yes for that.
Okay.
I'll do
Okay.
yes.
5 yes.
Pass 5-0. Okay, next, old business is clerk election wages. I make a motion that we rescind the $300, wages and the $1,000 wages for the election or for the clerk. We need to redo it as a resolution.
Right, rescind the motion, redo as a resolution. Okay. Rescind the one from last month.
March.
So you're gonna do it like with.
And redo it as a resolution. Do you want a resolution number now?
Do you know what it is right now?
Yes, 5-16-23. That was from the March one.
Okay, do I have support?
I'll support.
Okay, motion by David, supported by Robertson to rescind the motion and change it to a resolution. Want to do a roll call?
Yep. John Clark,
No.
Rick Robertson,
Yes.
Amanda Hunter,
No,
Joan David,
Yes.
Nancy Conley, yes.
Okay, next for new business, quite a while ago, we approved doing a electronic sign. It's been quite a while ago.
I was gonna say, I don't think, was it ever approved or was it just talked about? We discussed it, I know.
No, we did,
It was
approved, I'm pretty sure.
when Tammy was still here.
Yeah, when Tammy was still here. Should we look at that sign and do something different with it?
I was gonna say, I know that we had discussed getting quotes and stuff on it. But I don't remember it ever passing, that it was actually going to be done, cause I feel like if it was actually passed to be done, we would have looked at doing this.
I think we agreed to go ahead and get quotes. We agreed to
Yeah,
get a
yes.
sign.
Yeah,
And
we
agreed for the quote.
agreed to get quotes for
Right.
it, I do know
Because
that, but I don't
It's a
think we
mess if
ever
you
approved
read the
to.
signage when you go by.
So for the electronic sign, I don't think that we got the quote back.
We only got one back from Optic Edge out of, well, they're actually out of Lansing officially, but their office is in Big Rapids. The other two companies that I contacted have yet to contact me after a second reminder. The quote from Optic Edge for a 3-foot by 6-foot electronic sign with installation, 5-year parts warranty, 2-year service warranty, and training came to $18,345. They will be one of the cheapest because they make their own signs and assemble the cans. The Holton American Legion had one put together by All Signs out of Muskegon, and it's a smaller sign, but it came with the regular sign that says Holton American Legion on top. That was $19,000 for the two of them. And it is an inferior product that they are already having issues with. It's only been in a year and it's already shorted out on them twice. We have an Optic Edge sign at the hardware store in a 4x8. Apart from a couple fit and finish issues at the very beginning, we haven't had any major problems with it. So, for what that's worth. But I'm still waiting for the other two to get back to me.
Okay. And then, for the stonework, I had given everybody a copy for one of them. To have 2 pillars, 7 feet tall, wrapped in stone, which would be 26 by 26, with a 30 by 30 inch cap on the top. And it would be set on a 12-foot long by 2.5 foot wide and 8-inch thick footing in the ground with rebar. And it would be set up with conduit going through the stone for the electrical. I contacted 4 people, 2 didn't get back with me. One verbally told me, and it was a little over 6,000, and John Yates gave me and the $6,000 one was pretty much the same thing, and then John gave me in writing his quote for material and labor would be $4,700. So we'd be looking around 22 or 23,000 for all the masonry and for the electronic sign altogether.
I got a question,
I don't
Joe.
think so.
What, I mean, that's, yeah, it'd probably be nice, but what other township has something like this? I don't think of any I know it's got a sign.
So, I don't know.
You know, I mean, that's.
I know our sign is in dire need of.
Our sign does need updated.
I need updated.
I'm just
but
not
still,
sure
that's-
if 20-some thousand is.
Optic Edge, if I may, Optic Edge has done signs for several charter townships, very urban charter townships that have a lot of information to get out very quickly. Muskegon Charter Township is getting one, they're just waiting on it to come in. And Optic Edge is gonna be doing that one.
But we're just a little.
There's, and it's one's on the tip of my tongue. Just real quiet, but it's lost to me. But I mean, it's a great way to get out more information than just when the next meeting is. You know, I mean, you can use it as a community bulletin board to a point. You know, you can have a lot of information out there all at once. Is it super effective being in front of the township hall? I think it'd be more effective in front of the fire department, right on M20 where everybody can see it, but.
I would agree with that. It's on our road
That won't
here,
happen.
it's not.
So, but it's a good way to get out a lot of information very quickly. So,
So is Facebook though.
it is.
So not everybody has
I'm
this.
looking at over $20,000. I mean, yes, I understand electronic signs are expensive, but that just seems outrageous for a township of our size. Muskegon Charter Township,
Yeah.
they're significantly bigger.
Yes.
You know, like the only two that I can think of that might have an electronic sign that I know of would be Croton Township or Brooks Township over in Newaygo County.
And I know the
And-
city of White Cloud has a small message center, that they put up information for Wilcox Township as well. I mean, it, again, for what it's worth.
Well, we're getting parking lot redone, so that's, you know,
I mean, it may not
we're gonna
need
have
to
other
be-
news.
I can ask for a quote on a single-sided sign, cause that was double-sided with it this way against the road where you could see it from both sides. You can get a single-sided one on an angle for people who are coming in from M20, cause that's the way that the bulk of people would come in if they were following GPS. I mean, that's an option, I can add, there are options.
What about like more of like the old school, like,
The marquee signs.
yeah, just so we can put,
You can hardly read that
sounds-
one for each.
well, I mean, you can get it
Yeah.
quite big,
I know,
Yeah.
but that one flying, when you're on 20,
Oh yeah, the little ones that the Legion got, they're
yeah, no, that, not, I guess I'm,
Like the regular, the old fashioned letter.
no, I guess I was talking about the electronic ones, but, you know, where you can program it to, you know, stay on something for,
Yeah.
you know, 10 seconds versus 5 seconds, and it's not just running
Yeah.
across the
Well,
screen, but
that's what this one would.
so this one's not fully electronic, like, or not fully,
No, it's fully just like we have at the hardware store.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
I guess I'm just looking at the black and red ones.
Oh.
Like, where if an individual light bulb goes out, you change the light bulb type.
Gotcha, yeah, just
you know,
a marquee like they have at
Yeah,
Denver Township, you're talking, like one
Denver
of
doesn't.
those they have the letterboard sign they bought from whatever
Yeah,
community church.
no.
You're not talking one of
when the
those?
wind blows this stuff
Yeah,
away.
you're not talking one of those, okay, we'll have to talk later about what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
So
I guess I'd like to, put this on the back burner for this meeting, put it back on the agenda for next meeting, get a few more quotes, maybe on a one-sided sign. We'll get together and I'll tell you,
Yeah,
I'll show you what I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, sure.
Because I agree, I think our sign needs updated, but I think $20-some thousand for a township as small as we are is not worth it.
Well, we're gonna have a lot of things going on.
Unless you can get it in a conspicuous place and use it as a community message board like
Yes.
they do in White Cloud.
Yes,
Because
that would be better, but
Yeah.
on a little road like this,
Well,
you
we're
know-
gonna use it as a community one. I know the library got into a lot of hot water and finally, with their sign decided not to put community things on.
Well, yeah, you
because-
have to have rules for it.
Well, they
Yeah.
did, but they still have problems.
yeah, and you know, and it comes into where, you know, where's the township advertising for certain events that are like,
Right.
No, I mean, what do they do with
it gets real tricky, but I do think we need a
What
better
did the library
sign.
do with electronic signs?
Yeah,
They had?
but not.
But not
What
that
did the
much.
library do with that electronic sign?
They just put those new signs, they put them right
Right
over.
over it?
Yeah,
Okay,
over that Fox Bright sign
okay.
that was,
Yeah,
Valley City sign, is another one. They did the original orange sign, the Fox Bright sign that the school had before they got the new one. But just the one that the school had was like $40,000. It was outrageously expensive and it
Yeah.
reloaded. So,
So you want to schedule a next meeting?
yeah, I'd say to postpone this table it for next meeting. We'll get more quotes, we'll get more options and go from there.
That was a motion to table and.
Yeah, I didn't think we had to have a motion to table, but yeah, if we're making a motion to table, we'll make a
No,
motion
you
to
don't have
table.
to.
I'll support it,
We don't need to vote on that.
or, no?
Who
Okay.
supported it? Rick or John?
I support it.
John did, but we don't have to vote on it, it's tabled.
Okay.
Okay, next is bank accounts.
Alright, so I called multiple places and only a couple called me back. I got some information from Gerber Federal Credit Union, but their interest rates were like 0.1, whereas, I talked to Huntington and Choice One. Both of them said that they could match the 3.25 plus that we were getting at Shelby State. So, a couple other things that I discussed with them, because I told them, you know, what the issue was, where we're over our FDIC insurance. And so we're looking to spread out our accounts to other banks so that we could be insured. Both Choice One and Huntington both have what they call an ICS. They didn't tell me what it stood for exactly, but they told me that how it works is they put the money into its own account, and then they send that money to the other banks so that it is FDIC insured, because say they'll put 50,000 in this bank and 85,000 in that bank and, you know, 150,000 in this bank. So when we need it, we just tell Choice One or Huntington, whoever we decide to go with, and this would be if we moved the entire amount, not just small
It'd be like
amounts.
an Edward Jones for the investor.
Yeah, they basically transfer that money into other banks so that
Is that
We
legal
don't.
for townships?
they do this for all the townships they work with,
Okay.
yes. And they said that both of them said that they do this with townships that have significantly more money than we do. Huntington did say they have another option, which I didn't quite understand what he was talking about, but it sounded like the same type of thing, except for it was faster. He called it a liquidity account. But anyway, those were both options for if we transferred, say, our full amount of what's in our general fund over to one of them instead of
So
keeping
then
it
you'll
here at
have to
Shelby.
transfer back every time you need to transfer to general fund. Each month you'll have
We
to
would
transfer.
get all new checks and it would go they do all
So we
the,
won't be doing anything at Shelby State Bank?
I would be doing all of my treasury accounts at Shelby State Bank because I get a lot of cash in those. But any of the other stuff would be done through either Huntington or Choice One, if we wanted to go that route. The other route we can do is, you know, just transfer 250 or less to one and 250 or less to the other, and we could go that route too. It's easier to consolidate everything into one account, and they'll do the back work for us.
Well, the only thing is
So it's all
when we
insured.
needed the money for a 5-year amount to borrow, when we paid 5.1 miles of loop road, Shelby State Bank came up and did the loan for us.
And we could still do something like, you know, we can still use them for purposes like that.
I'm more comfortable with just transferring the 250,000 as needed, not to transfer everything over. I'm not.
Okay, the big thing with not transferring everything over is every time that I have, say, an amount, so if we transfer the marijuana money, for instance, every time that I get a check for that, I have to drive to Fremont. Whereas if we transfer the whole thing, they'll give us a remote deposit thing, so that, I can scan the checks here, I don't have to drive to Fremont, I don't have to do anything, it's just automatically deposited right from my desk.
I'm not
So,
comfortable with that either.
you know, there's that too.
You wouldn't wanna do it, would you? You know what I mean?
Tammy, we
You
were
know-
at Choice One once, and Tammy,
Okay.
you know, just transferred and made her deposits there.
Mhm.
But our checks are still,
And we could do that too, because they have like the ACH capabilities where if we wanted to keep our checking account here at Shelby State, all of our funds could be over there, and then I can just transfer the money over here and it'll be in the account over here. Just via an ACH transfer. And as long as I do it early enough in the day, it'll be done that day.
What happens if the bottom falls out? Are we gonna lose money?
Of the market, no, that's what the,
Guaranteed?
mhm. Because they actually, how Choice One told it to me is that they actually insure it as well, so it's not just FDIC insured, but they
So.
told me it was fully insured. It sounded like they get a bond or something for the full amount of what we,
So if everything went to pot, we'd still have our money.
that's what they told me. So I can only tell you what they told me, but, you know, I also think that if everything went to crap and
it's not gonna matter where
everything,
it's at.
FDIC insurance doesn't matter anyway, so.
I'd like to table this for a month and get a little more in-depth
Yeah.
on some of this stuff and
Well,
address this
probably.
next month.
Sitting back there with no,
And that was, another thing that
Pardon?
I didn't mean to interrupt, I said, you would probably know, I'd see what he'd have to say, he's worked in the bank.
He hasn't been there for 10 years.
I know, but he's still got a pretty good idea.
Well,
We just went through that too.
you just went through it too, Mike? What did you find out?
There's two signatures on there, he was in at 250,000 apiece. That's what they told
It
us.
gets pretty complicated, and like she says, I've been out of it for 10 years, so. My
That's what
information,
they told us.
the only thing I would say, one thing to consider is what has Shelby Bank done for us,
Mhm.
and what has Choice One done for us, and what
Mhm.
has Langton done for us.
Because we transferred some of ours over to Choice One,
Okay.
and that, when we did it with the CD, that's what we had way too much in.
Mhm.
We had almost too
Well,
much.
when we were looking for money to finance Loop Road, we checked a lot of places and
But if you check
Shelby.
with Tracy, I think it's however many signatures you got on your account, it's 250 apiece. So if you got two signatures.
That's not what she's ever told me, but I would double check with her.
Double check it, because that's what she told us, so you should be covered for 500,000, but you should have minimum two
Well,
signatures.
we've got 4 signatures on each of them,
Yeah.
so,
So you might look out, you might.
yeah, I'll check with her on that as well. But no, I'm comfortable tabling this per month, cause when I was talking to Choice One, they said that they would actually come out and have a meeting with us to show us, you know, what they could do and all of that. I'd really like to get more information from both of them. I don't think Huntington was willing to drive out. But that is what Choice One told me, is that they'd be willing to drive out. I love Shelby State Bank, I love the convenience of Shelby State Bank, so I'm okay with just transferring a small amount too. I just was looking at it like, Shelby State Bank, from what we've talked about, doesn't offer the full insurance, you know, for anything over the 250, and if it's true that per signer is 250,000, that'd be great, and then we wouldn't have to do anything. But that's not what they've ever told me when I've talked to Tracy before of, hey, you know, we've got way too much money in here, I've gotta do something, and she's
Well,
never
I
mentioned
make a motion, I know I
to
did,
table it.
Yeah.
to table it for a month.
I'll
Get a
support
little
that.
Information.
Okay. All right, NCATS at Oxbow.
So the cameras are in at Oxbow, they're working fantastically, but I have to physically be on site to get video clips. That doesn't work, because if you don't, I've been there, I've gone every other day since we got it up and running, and I've been watching birds, and I've been watching fishermen. So NCATS did do a site survey out there. They are able to serve, they're pretty sure they can put it where I want it, but if not, I might have to do a little bit of cabling and make it work. As long as it's within 200 feet of where I want it, I can make it work. I don't need anything fast, don't need anything special, just the basic $30 a month plan, which when you pay for it by a year, or ACH is only $25 a month. Just so that it can tell me if there's something that's happening at 2 o'clock in the morning that's a person, not a squirrel. It's smart enough to tell the difference.
Two questions.
Yeah.
Have we've canceled them for here?
So,
Not yet.
I don't remember if your motion was to cancel service here and bring in Spectrum, or if it was to just bring in Spectrum and then you can cancel it later. They have not, I have not told them to cancel yet.
Okay.
Or have not asked Joan to tell them to cancel yet.
Okay.
But they did say they would be able to move that account that's still existing out there. We wouldn't have to go through setup and extra fees and everything. Actually, when I talked to Brian, he said you probably couldn't move the equipment. It's gonna go back to the same place. And I said, I didn't feel comfortable. So,
Cause I'm wondering how much we have left on our yearly contract
Not
with
very
them.
much. It ends in like June.
But we were also at $70 a piece here. So if we go down to the $30,
No, we're not 70.
weren't we like 65 or 70 or something per month?
$45.
it was the 45.
Oh, it was the
It was the
45.
45.
I
So it
thought
would
it
have
was
been 40
$40.
after that.
Okay, so,
So it's still a little cheaper.
Yeah, it's still a little cheaper.
And it'll be, you'll be able to tell what's going on in there,
Yeah.
because that's obviously when.
Yeah, cause it'll be able,
So the recognition comes with the Wi-Fi, not,
well, I mean, no, it's
Oh.
part of it's part of the system, but it will actually, I'll get a notification at 3 o'clock in the morning that a person was detected inside the cabin at Oxbow. Well, then I know we have a problem and need to call 911. There is a camera inside the cabin at Oxbow. There are 2 facing separate directions on the cabin. There's 2 on the outside of the restroom building. And that covers that entire open area of the park. The trail cameras will get moved down the trail toward the boardwalk. We did have one that was either stolen or destroyed off of the tree by the scout hall. It still says it's online, but it hasn't sent another picture, so I'm not sure what the deal is there, but it is not where I put it. I briefly scouted around in the river to see if it got chucked into the river by some kids, but I could not see or feel anything, so.
my next question is, does that have audio? Do they have
The
audio?
cameras, the new ones, yes, they do.
So we do need to have something put up about audio in progress due to,
Because it's a public place, there is no expectation of privacy in a
Okay.
public place, we do not have to post it.
okay, alright,
We can choose to do so, as a, on a sign, as a potential deterrent,
okay,
but it's not necessary.
okay,
It's necessary inside of that public area, but exterior.
okay, so that,
So the
but
one-
that cabin you're talking about?
That one I did, because of that, I have the microphone turned off.
Okay, alright, I
that
guess
is a-
that's where it,
That is a
Trigger.
permanent change, I can't just turn it on and off at will, I need to physically be at the camera and reset
okay,
it. So if we choose to post it, we can,
okay,
but the cameras that are on the building will be able to catch glass breaking or anything else. too,
Okay.
so.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So he's talking video or sound,
Mhm.
so technically we need one here, right?
They're on the doors,
No, I ain't.
the
I've
ones
seen
on the
you go
doors
into
only
little-
say video
you go into
surveillance,
little
they don't
places
say
it just
anything.
says surveillance.
And they
Doesn't
have-
But it
specify
still needs,
video.
I believe it still
Don't we
needs
need
to
a
say,
regular little sign?
It does not need to specify, it
Oh,
just
yeah.
needs to say
Okay.
surveillance.
really, it doesn't need to say audio and
In the
recording?
state of Michigan, it's a one-party consent state.
Cause you do go in some places, they have it right underneath your camera, like,
They do that as a deterrent, and most of the times in places where you see the sign underneath
They
it,
probably-
camera's fake.
they probably even hooked up, yeah.
Yeah, like
Um,
those ones that you see in Walmart going
Yeah.
down the aisles, those are fake. They're just a camera and a screen, they don't record.
How do we know?
so
Not to give away anybody's proprietary information.
They said they'd transfer it free, or there's a transfer fee from
There
here
would not be a transfer fee, there would be an installation fee,
of $100?
but because I already have the cable where I want it, it's only gonna be $50.
Oh,
It's a
okay,
cable in place installation.
okay,
As long as they can put it where I want it, and if they can't put it where I want it, he said he'll leave me the equipment, it'll be activated, and I can put it where I want it, as long as it works.
I'm saying,
okay,
you might as well go for it, I mean, it ain't
Yeah.
no good with the way you got it now.
it is, it
It's-
works,
I
but
mean, it
it's,
is, but it ain't.
It's a
Yeah.
whole lot because I actually physically have to go into the shed, plug into the system,
So-
wait, and then
What
and then
you're,
see if anything happens.
so what you're saying, you'll get an alert if it's hooked up like 2, 3 in the morning? and
As a matter of fact, if that camera senses motion between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., I get a text message. So far, knock wood, it hasn't happened. But
I was gonna say, it probably should have, that camera or all of them here?
just that one.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, the ones out there, I never get any sleep.
Well, I make a motion,
We have a lovely black and white cat that's been
I know it walks back and forth
frequenting
on the thing. I make a motion that we transfer the NCATs down to Oxbow with the $50 setup and the $30 a month fee.
I'll support that.
Motion by David, supported by Hunter for NCATs at Oxbow. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 5-0. Next, I make a motion that we approve the the bills for a total of $17,968.02.
Support.
Okay, motion by David, supported by Robertson to approve bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, 5-0. Reports, MTA, our next MTA meeting for elected officials is May 31st at Elbridge Township Hall on Polk Road in Hart at 6:00 PM. Everybody should have got an email on that.
I got a question, are they ever gonna have one here or not?
We go in alphabetical order, so it might be another year and a half before it gets down
But they
to,
will.
yep, everybody's.
And you have, what are you addressing this month?
We're addressing blight, and we're addressing, grants, and, oh my gosh, what's the third thing? Oh my gosh, can't think of the third one. But yeah, it's, mostly blight and grants.
Okay.
There's a lot of grants out there that people aren't aware of or know how to do, and so we're gonna go over that. Planning Commission.
We had a very productive meeting on Thursday with Jeff from McKenna. We went over was going over the current master plan, which was done in 2009 when I was a sophomore in high school. And a lot has changed since then. So we were able to, technology has advanced, things are no longer issues. We went through the original SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Weeded some out that definitely don't apply, moved some around. We had a very, very productive meeting with all involved. We kind of turned it into because there were so few of us, we just kind of turned it into a informal town hall meeting where we were able to bounce ideas and bounce our thoughts off of each other in a less restrictive environment. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 8th, a Thursday. It is after the cleanup day, so we'll be able to have some reports on that, and probably continue moving on with some more with McKenna, and then whatever else will land on our agenda between now and then.
And you are looking at dates for like the open meeting for the community?
So the community the community involvement work, whatever the
Community
engagement, there we go, whatever the technical term is. We're gonna be spitballing dates for those. One in the summer, one toward the fall, trying to catch people who are vacationing or what times of day. Steve would probably have a better handle on all that, but we'll be, as they come up, we'll be getting information put out. So.
The idea is we want to get as many folks involved as possible. We will start actually with a stakeholders meeting. The idea would be to have people from the business community, people from the faith community, people from the school, people from the municipal units of government, law enforcement. It would also be a joint meeting of both the board and the planning commission, and kind of do I think he calls it a visioning session, where you're getting input from these groups on where they would like to take things and how that fits in to what we're doing right now. And then that would kind of kick off the engagement portion. We did send out, I should say we, Jeff sent out, we are required by law to send notice to all neighboring communities of our intent to rewrite our master plan. That's been done. And he's actually working on our survey. We will have an online survey as well that will be available to the public. So it's all good stuff.
And I apologize for not making it Thursday. I had a job in Grand Haven and didn't get back till late.
But you watched it.
I did watch it.
And yeah, it's my intent for our community involvement and for all all of our meetings that we have that aren't, that wouldn't, because there wouldn't be all 5 of us there, that aren't specifically a commission meeting, those will be live streamed as well. Just because I want as much transparency and as many people to see it as possible. And if it pops up on someone's news feed, hey, this happened, they might then they get a link to the survey and so on and so on. So every meeting that we have with McKenna that isn't privileged will be.
All right, thank you. Marijuana enforcer.
Just that I've been doing the inspections, the monthly inspections. I got one scheduled for Thursday and hopefully the other 2 on Friday for this month. I've been in touch with Andre. I have a meeting with him on Thursday to see where he's at on his farm. He was working out of town. I believe that they started delivering sand, I believe today, for the berm along the front. I've been on him about that, so I believe that they got some sand delivered that today. So hopefully that'll be done. Other than that, just basically doing our inspections and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you. Cemetery.
I got one to ask Rick. I see they mowed it out in front there.
Yeah.
So now, my understanding, they gotta put 6 foot of.
Berm, yep. It's all staked
then
out.
the trees,
And then the trees on top.
4 to 6 foot.
Yeah, I believe what they were
What
planning
are they
on.
gonna do with the trees that are coming up, that they planted?
Maybe a plant
They'll
somewhere
probably
else,
be
maybe
gone
put
in
them on.
Zane.
Yeah,
Oh, I
little
know,
short
but at
ones.
least, I mean, there's a lot of trees there.
Yeah, there's a lot of trees, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll plant them down the side of the driveway or something, but I'll ask them about it.
Just wondering.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Cemetery.
Yeah, I had, seven resident lot sales, or plot sales for the month. I installed 3, foundation bases. And now I'd like to give a special thanks to Barb Wright and the Girl Scouts and the parents. They volunteered, put flags out. They put all the military flags out in a day. And then I had, 5 senior boys that came out to Oxbow and helped clean it up and get rid of the graffiti and that. And a really nice young man donated their couple hours of their busy schedules. It was, Alex Sayer, Travis Kurtz, Dylan Page, Hunter White, and Marcus Hogan. So I'd like to thank them young boys for what they did. They painted all the graffiti and cleaned the path out. And appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Zoning.
Okay. I printed the wrong month though. So I will provide that to everyone after the meeting.
Okay.
But the long and the short of it is, that, we issued 3 zoning permits last month, which is triple what we did in the quarter prior to that. And I have another one, right now in process. I mailed out 3 so far this week. So, that's kind of picking up. Light just continues to be so much fun. I'm about to write up. One of the difficulties is there's certain information you need to go to court. I do have 3 civil infractions written up, and then what I need is dates of birth. So I'm gonna ask a friend at the sheriff department if he will get me dates of birth for some folks that I couldn't find online, because that's required for the civil infraction. The other part to that is I am continuing, I'm almost finished with rewriting our blight ordinance. I'll send that on to the board, and then ask that I would like to send it to Sawyer for his review to make sure he can enforce it. But basically, I stole a lot of stuff from the village. By statute, we actually, after 10 days after a certified notice of our intent to clean up, we can clean up a property and put it onto the property owner's tax bill. And I think, at least for some of the smaller ones, like the one here on Loop, which is garbage. American Classic actually does that for other
Yeah,
townships.
that's what he said. He
And,
told me.
I think it's worthwhile to do that. Maybe it'll get some folks' attention. Of course, when it gets a little jolt, I think that's the way to go, because going to court will cost us a minimum of $500. The maximum we can get in court, unless we go to circuit court, which is really expensive, the maximum we can get is $100. So we're $400 in the hole by going to court. So obviously, some of the bigger ones that we have an issue with, we probably have to go to court. But something like that that's smaller, the one over on Lynn's lovely neighbor with his trailer.
You gotta talk to him,
Yeah.
John won't do it.
Yeah, well,
Okay, John's told him, but he's only his uncle.
yeah, well, I've talked to him. We're not gonna, I think we don't play anymore. I think we just, that's when we could have, we can have hay coops or someone throw it away and let them go get it.
Yeah.
And, we'll stick it on the tax bill. Because
I'm still
otherwise,
curious how you're gonna stick it on the tax bill.
I'm sorry,
I'm curious how you're gonna stick it on the tax bill.
we have to put that in our ordinance.
Okay,
Once
but
it's-
I'm just saying, like, Mary Lou freaks out if I put anything on the tax bill. So,
She's-
I think that's gonna be a big
We'll have to
issue with
pull
her.
those and do them
I
manually,
think,
probably.
I think Fremont has that. They give you a 30-day notice, and if not, they'll come out and clean it up, but it'll be on your tax.
Cause I know that village and, city limits are gonna be slightly different because you guys get water bills and stuff like that you can you guys charge those to your tax bills? If they don't pay?
We can't put interest on them, but we can charge. But we
Yeah.
can go in with blight, but yet, it's a slippery slope.
Mm-hmm,
If you go in and just clean up, expect to be sued.
mm-hmm.
It's
They'll lose.
Fremont, like you said, they're used to doing it.
Yeah,
They've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
We're just starting this. White Cloud doing the same problem, they're just trying it.
Mm-hmm.
They're having a heck of a time to start. If you can once get it, the precedent set, where if you don't do it after your 10 days, then you're okay, but it's to start out.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's, you can talk to, Rick and I have talked to these folks, we've gone out there, we've said hi, we've tried to be nice, and they basically spit in our faces.
They tell you what you wanna hear,
Yeah, at
And
best.
it doesn't get
and
moved.
then they don't follow
Yeah,
through.
so, and if you don't follow through, the word gets out real fast, and then pretty soon they laugh at you. And that's where kind of where we're at.
We need to start following through.
So, I'm just curious, but what's the difference between a lien on their property versus putting it on the tax bill? Cause didn't you say at one point you could put a lien on their property?
You could, yep.
Same thing.
It's the same thing, okay.
Yeah.
Cause where does that lien go to? Is that register of deeds that would go to?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that would go with the register of deeds, it would be just like a mortgage.
that's what I thought, that's what I
So-
thought.
The difference is that you'd have to, if you did that, you'd have to wait till the property was sold.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be basically like a junior mortgage.
Mhm.
So, let's say, Hugh didn't pay his mortgage, and it got repossessed by the bank, and he had $100,000 mortgage on there, and they only sold it for $90,000. The mortgage company would get that $90,000 and we'd be out in the cold.
Mhm.
By putting it on the tax bill, I think we're a whole lot more likely, because what we're talking about really is fairly small amounts at this point.
Yeah.
The garbage cleanup and stuff like that.
Yeah, it just
All in
also
the trailer.
comes down to, we don't currently have a system to where they can pay us after I turn my taxes over delinquent to the county.
Right.
So we don't have that system set up.
Yeah.
And,
We'll have to check. How is the village doing it besides adding it onto the water bills? Is that how you add it
It's not your
on?
water bill, it's added on to the taxes. They call Mary Lou or Michael County, and if we got right now, that last month, any of our outstanding water bills are now put on the taxes. Your
Okay,
problem comes in with blight, if you're gonna, your little ones aren't bad, but your big ones, if you're anything like us, you know, to tear down a house or something, it's gonna cost you $23,000.
Yeah.
Well, they're not gonna pay it, they're gonna let the property go. And so then you can get the property, but you can only sell it for what you got into it. You can't make a profit on it. And for us in the village, our lots are worth about $3,500.
Yeah.
So you're gonna eat a lot of money cleaning up your township.
But you can also condemn within the village. You could
You
condemn
can.
a house.
You can do that.
You can, but, you know, whose opinion is that?
Right. Well, I mean, but you have
Your
the,
property is condemnable, but to you, you don't think so.
right,
You said, you gotta go to court.
yeah.
You gotta go to court, you gotta have documents.
Anything big, anything over a couple $1,000, I think then it's worthwhile to go to circuit court and go that whole route, because then it would be a court-ordered settlement.
Okay.
And that would be, you know, it'd be a judgment against them, all that sort of stuff. You know, but, you know, like I said, like hauling a trailer away, cleaning up garbage over here, stuff like that. Why do we want to spend $500 on an attorney?
Right.
And then probably still have to spend the money to have them clean up, so it just makes more sense to go that route and get things actually cleaned up.
I do have one more question, probably for Mike. When you guys do send it to Mary Lou, she doesn't pay you guys back for that delinquent, that's just outstanding in your accounts, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cause I tried to do that last year, we had a couple of non-sufficient funds checks, so I put it on their, tax bill so that I'd know when it came in, and she yelled at me for it. She told me, absolutely not, you're not putting any additional payments on these tax bills whatsoever. So that's where I'm like, she's telling me I can't, but I know that I can because I've actually done it, but she's, you know, so it's just something that before we actually solidify everything, I want to make sure Mary Lou's on the same page with us versus just saying, yeah, we're doing this, and then she's like, no, you're not doing this, and then we don't know what we're doing.
Other places must do it, so we'll have to check.
Yeah, cause I know it's possible, like I
Check
said.
with your attorney, you know, cause Mary Lou sometimes doesn't give you quite the most accurate information.
And I do know Mary Lou for a long time, I will, and if you're okay with it, I'll actually contact her.
Sure, go for it, that's fine, I just know at one point I put that on a check and I sent her, I put it on somebody's balance because they owed it, and it was easier for me to remember that they owed it when it popped up telling me that they owed such and such amount. And when she received my backup, she was like, that's on there, no, we're not doing that, we're not adding extra, and
Well, let's just check and see.
you know, so I just wanna make sure that she's on that same page before we finalize something here and not get her on that page too, is all I'm asking, I guess.
See, you might get only charged just the check amount, no insufficient funds charges on that, cause that's what we can do. We can't, we got penalties and stuff on our, if you don't pay your water bill, well, we can't charge penalties, we could just charge what the water.
The amount of the check.
Yeah.
So you might.
And maybe that was the issue, cause I don't know, cause I just put it in there so it didn't go to her system at all, and she saw it and she was not happy, so she told me to remove it, so I did. You know, and we got it all straightened out, but, I just wanted to make sure that that's out in the open before we get there.
Alright. Public comments. Okay, any board discussion?
I'd like to bring you an update on the recycle grant. Mike Rosen is overseeing the physical that's gonna be happening. He contacted Miss Dig, and they wanna start excavating. He's hoping tomorrow morning, to start with the excavation out here. The dumpsters have been ordered. We ordered them with, the county of Newaygo, because they're ordering 30, we're ordering 6, so they thought we'd get a better deal. And actually, in a year, the quote didn't change much. They'll be $1,661 a piece, a few odd cents. If they are ordered this week, through the county, they said we're looking at a 5-week, possibility before they'll be delivered. If this isn't ready, then they'll be delivered to the site in Newaygo where, American Classic bought the old, factory going up the big hill, and they'll be delivered there and held. But, he is getting started this week, and things will start moving along out there. So that's kind of the time frame we're in for the recycle center.
Okay.
I did have, 2 quick things that I wanted to mention. One, tomorrow is, the BSNA training for the tax database. Me and Peggy will be going up there tomorrow for that all-day training, and then after that, she'll have the invoice for us so we can pay that next month. And my other.
Certification, is it a certification?
Nope, there's no certification.
Okay.
Nope, it's just a training on best practices for that. And so I'll ask her about the, adding that to the
Okay.
tax bill, cause BSNA will be there too. So BSNA, who's probably done that 1,000 times,
Yeah.
can give us more
Okay.
insight on that too. So I'll ask them as well. And then the other question I had was about the Diane Hazen with $1,000 towards books, which I think is wonderful. I wondered if the Hesperia Library ever does book sales, like used book sales.
Yeah, they do.
And could we spend some of that towards those, because then you could get more than if you buy them new, obviously. And it's helping our local library, so, I just wanted to throw that in there, that
They
maybe
do
that's a
dollar book
possibility.
sales, don't they? Isn't it like a dollar?
Sometimes it's 50 cents.
You know, so just,
I know
you
some
know,
of them
keep
that are
that-
out here that have been donated are ones people picked up at their sale down there. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
cause I'm just thinking we can get 10 times the books if
Oh,
we do
yeah.
a used book sale versus
Yeah.
buying new, but
I already,
obviously talk with her too and see what she
Yeah.
had envisioned for that, because
Yeah.
that's
I already
her
thought of
donation.
that.
And is that check gonna go in its own special line, or how?
We did it in, deposited it into,
I think
donations, and we figured we could spend it out of resident services,
Mhm.
so.
Okay. Alright, supervisor's report. I've been working with, the road commission on those roads, of course, and, some brining. And I've also been working with, talking with the sheriff and undersheriff about the radios. They sent a letter stating that they are going forward with it because they had, discussed it with 3 different attorneys, all saying that it was fine to go ahead and do. There was 4 residents that had contacted the sheriff's office, in regards to the radios. We had 2 of them that, even discussed that their employment was with a government agency and, an IRS, which that has nothing to do with this. And we also had a individual write a story in the Oceana Herald about the radios and stating that it was a donation. Donations are illegal for a township to do. It was not a donation. We purchased them for them to use. I have myself, the sheriff and the undersheriff have a signed, letter from a notary that's been notarized stating that the agreement is that the Newfield Township Board was purchasing 20 radios for the sheriff's office and their officers to use as needed, and I requested that they keep the radios on their premises so they have them at all times, so that was not an illegal act. I also want to give limited information at this time that myself and the township are both being sued by Mr. Draper. And so I'll give further information on that later. And and we also have more FOIAs out there. Mr. Talbot had FOIA'd and Mr. Chris Herron, so Nancy and Steve are working on that. And also I wanted to mention blight, so I'm glad you, Steve, you gave as much information as you did, because with the dump day coming up, I think that, June 3rd, everybody be here? I think that, I know Wayne Ferris discussed with Dennis and I about somebody having a couch sitting along the road somewhere. But I think that as far as the resident across from the Catholic cemetery and a few others, that I think maybe we should hook on a trailer and go and visit, and I'd be more than happy to go along too, and I'm sure Dennis would, and I don't know if you or Rick or both of you guys could. I think we just need to go up there, and I'd be more than happy to go up and talk to her, and then try to get her to come along with us to get the stuff out of her yard and in the pile that's to the east of her house, that's in the fenced-in area. And, yeah, and I think that if we do that with her and a couple other people, if we show up there with the trailer in that, or at least make a date and time with them to show up and get it and have everything up here for dump day. And, you know, just let them know that the consequences if they choose not to do that. I don't know. But like I said, I'd be more than happy.
Well, and Andre offered
Yeah,
trailer.
Andre will have truck and trailer, on dump day, and we have that on the notices, the flyers that I have.
But I think like some of those, if we went a day or two ahead of dump day and got them and had it on the trailer in here and ready to throw in that,
I have mixed feelings on that, and we'll talk about that. I don't think you should have,
We'll talk.
they're getting off scot-free, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because the blight's getting out of control and enough's enough, and so we need to go forward on that, so that's it. So at this time, I make a motion that we
Joan, I'm sorry. Number one, I printed out the right ones, which I'll get over real quick, but just to add, again, June 3rd, dump day, cleanup day, whatever we want to call it. We always look for volunteers. If anyone is interested, we have some volunteers already from our facilities. Number two, we are gonna, this is news for you, Michael. We will be having a public hearing at the June 8th. We'll have enough time. Planning Commission meeting. RQMI OG1 is looking to put another group house, which is a type of greenhouse, on their property there. Because it is a change in site plan, it has to go through Planning Commission, public hearing, and board approval.
That was the 176th Avenue?
Yeah, no, 186.
Or 186th Avenue?
Yeah, number one. So there's no change in number of plants or permits or anything like that. It's they have one greenhouse that was in their original site plan that's up. They want to add a second one. Call it a loop house. It's basically a greenhouse.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's it.
All right, I make a motion that we adjourn 8:33.
I'll support.
Okay, motion by David, supported by Hunter to